Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Brewhouse Art Studio and the next tutorial in my tutorials of doing motion capture and motion editing. I am Brian Brewer, and today we are going to be talking about reverse knee. And what is a reverse knee? Just kind of a term I don't really care for because there's really no such thing as a reverse knee. Hey, how's it going? I am getting ready to start here and talk about motion capture and motion editing. So let me pull up a little, let me switch over here, transition over to my character. Give you all some emotes. There you go. My special emotes that finally got approved for my Twitch stream. But I want to talk about this reverse knee thing because, hey, thank you for the subscription. You are awesome. So yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, reverse knee, because the reverse knee, and by the way, if my microphone is too loud, I'm trying this new microphone. I don't want to blow everybody's ears out. I can always turn it down if necessary. Yes, I do have a new subscribe button. I finally became an affiliate, and this is so cool. I'm excited because it's opened up a bunch of things for you guys. And you've got the Lupin emote that I made. And Lupin's not sleeping on his bed right now. He's off in the other room playing, but he'll probably be back here too soon. But anyways, if this volume is too loud on this mic, let me know, because sometimes I can't hear what you guys hear. But yeah, so reverse knee. Let me pull up a little piece of reference here that I was getting ready to open up. Because reverse knee is kind of a misconception when we have to go in and make a creature that has... well, there's the dog. They can't see the dog. There, now they can see the dog. There's Lupin. Oh, yes, you're a good dog. All right. Away, dog. Oh yeah, so horse link leg, dog leg. Dogs happen to have the same kind of anatomy, and then we get a creature that has something that looks very similar to this creature right here, this monster demon thing, and they say, we need you to animate this thing, and we need to put mocap on it and make it work. And they say he's got a reverse knee. He doesn't have a reverse knee. He actually has like a horse link leg or a dog link leg. And this is something that goes right down to the core design of a character that's really important. And if the character's not designed correctly, it can be a nightmare to animate this. It can be a nightmare to put motion capture. I have only worked with maybe one or two creatures that have been correctly built, where the modeler and the designers and the concept artists have taken the time to actually do a good job. I would not say this guy is one of them, but I'd say he's probably close to one of them. This is the Battle Lord from Duke Nukem Forever. And he's that guy you get to climb up on the top of his head and pull a horn out of his head and stab him in the face with it. That strength tap event. So anyways, let's talk about this anatomy real fast, because I've got this diagram here that's going to kind of illustrate kind of what's going on. And by the way, if you've never used the snippet tool, inside of Windows, add it, because it is great. I'm just going to snip this and put my reference over here. And the reason why I want to do this is I can grab my tablet and I can draw. So minimize that. So when we talk horse link legs, it's just like a human. You know, you have your pelvis, which is right here. That's a hard color to see. Let's try blue. So you got your horse link leg, or you got your hips right there. And then you have your your thigh, which is just like what you have here on a human skeleton. Then you have your lower leg or your shin or your calf or whatever you want to call it right there. Same as a human. Then you have your actual foot, which is this little green bone right here. Same with us right there. That's where our actual foot is. And then right down here is where you have all your carpal joints. These are the bones that reach out to your fingers, and we have it as well right there. And then horses and other animals actually walk on their fingertips, which is right here, and it'd be right there on a human. And this is an important concept to understand when you're dealing with anatomy. Just same with up here. You got your bicep, your forearm, your hand, your carpal joints in your hand, and then your fingertips. And I actually have another illustration here, which is really good reference. And this is a close-up of kind of how the fingers and the joints work in an animal versus a human. And you can see it's the same scenario, right? This little green area right here, this is kind of like the actual hand. These are the metacarpal bones. And then you got your carpals, which are right here. And then it comes down into the fingers and the claws and everything. So as long as you have a strong understanding of anatomy and how these things should work and function, the better you're going to do being able to set this up and get motion capture onto it. I have worked with modelers who haven't studied anatomy, or if they have, they haven't really applied it to the character that they're working on, and the result is these extra joints in the leg that are very difficult to work with. So here's this character. I'm going to go back to so you can see the skeleton, and you have your upper leg, your lower leg, your actual foot, which is right here. And then it branches out into your toes. And these work your toes, right? And I can actually look at this, and I can tell you right now the left leg, they call that where was it? Here. I think it was this joint. They called it leg ankle when that's really not the ankle. The ankle's actually up here. Let me head back over to Maya so you can see Maya. But so there you go. So upper leg, lower leg, foot, toes are the kind of the carpal joints, and then actual toes. And with animals, these joints happen to flex. Our joints flex as well. Let's see, right here, you get like cupping and stuff, and your feet can actually kind of do the same thing. So anyway, these are very important things to think about and to know whenever you're getting ready to do a character such as this. So let's minimize that, and let's head back over to Motionbuilder. So I've got this character inside Motionbuilder. He's already characterized. I characterized him a long time ago in a studio far, far away that fortunately is no longer around. But when I had to sit down and I had to characterize this guy, I had to think about how do these legs work, and the fact that this is actually a foot. How should he be characterized? So let me put him into his T-pose. So stance. So there's his stance. And you're only going to be like, oh man, this guy looks silly. Why are his feet like that? Well, there's a couple ways you can characterize it. You can characterize it where he's in a more natural pose, or you can characterize it where you actually place the feet out flat. And the way you characterize them sometimes is determined on how you capture the animation. If you go onto the mocap stage and you really think about how you're going to capture this creature, and you get a good creature actor, you would probably characterize this guy differently. But for us, we were pretty, low budget when we were doing this, and we didn't really have all the tools and resources in our hands. In fact, I actually want to show you a reference video of that I found. So let me, well, actually, here's another image. So when you go on stage, you want to actually build something very similar to this. I found this on Google, this image of this person who's building this cosplay costume of a velociraptor. I went and found the YouTube page and got to watch this person actually act out this creature of a velociraptor. This is a great example. Let me see if I can open this up here. Mute that because it's just music. She kind of goes out and she starts testing this velociraptor design that she came up with. And you can see how just putting stilts on her legs like this and getting her legs to work and act like a creature completely changes how she moves around. Look at this, like running. I mean, she's a little awkward, but not bad for somebody who invented their own little, creature legs. But there you go. That's pretty cool. Look at how she's moving around. I think this is great reference, So this is something that I would want on a mocap stage for an actor who's getting ready to actually capture this type of a creature. You want him to look fierce. You want him to move the way one of those creatures move. And so yeah. And all this is coming into play. This is a lot to think about when you endeavor to create a crazy creature like this. Is it okay if you share my stuff on Spectrum on the RSI? I think if you share it, I think it's okay. I shared it once and it was okay, but I kind of want to be careful of what I share. But yeah, I say feel free to share. If you are on there and you are sharing, go for it. I won't be in any trouble. I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to be doing. Cool. Yeah, but thank you for the promotion. I really appreciate that and everything. And by the way, if anybody subscribes, they get a cool little icon that pops up, boink, on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen that you guys get to look at. A little animation I did way back when of a fierce monster doing his thing. Special for the subscribers to activate it. All right. So anyways, I've built this guy out. And when I go to, let me take him out of his stance and put him back into his character rig. So in his character rig, I actually have toe controls. So his feet, which are, if I go to this, and if you remember any of my previous tutorials, you'll recognize this as the foot. Normally the foot has IK on it, but I'm not putting IK onto that foot. I'm actually going to put the IK onto the toe. And then I'll lock the toe down. And then what I can do is whenever this character is walking around, in order to get kind of that springy effect of feet going up and down, it's a real simple job of just animating these things going up and down. You can also apply pull to the toe, which will help lock the foot down even more. Like before, it was like lifting up pretty easily, but now I'm having a little bit more difficult time getting that toe to lift up off the ground. So there we go. I'll pull that off. And so whenever I pose this character or animate this character, whether I'm using motion capture or hand key, it becomes very easy to sit there and get him to do his thing and to get his feet to move around. I guess I should say it's relatively easy. So I got his foot pinned. So that's why when I pull up on his toe, his ankle locks. If I unlock it, which I'll do that right now, I start lifting up on it, you can see it actually moves the whole foot around. Like so. And gosh, so we talked a little bit about motion capture and acting. I can't just throw any character's walk cycle onto this guy. You really need motion that matches, kind of like what we were seeing in that video a couple minutes ago, right? So let me open up my next file. I call this creature solve. And what I have here is I have kind of a whole animation set that we did way back when on a bunch of character, or for this type of character, where the actor on stage, which is this little red skeleton right here. This is the, so go to the ROM. Here's the range of motion. ROM stands for range of motion. So here we go. So here's, you see a little red mocap guy right there doing his thing. I'm getting this big guy to kind of follow relatively close that motion. I have adjusted the solving to be as close as I can get it. So that weird pose that you saw that guy in the last file, that's his characterized pose. Now he's doing a little foot thing, yada yada yada. Yeah. Let's go and look at something interesting, like I think I was looking at that walk left. So you can see a difference between the actor just kind of walking over. So he's just walking over there now, and then he's going to get himself prepped and ready to be this creature. And because this is the one thing I don't have on this character, because this demon monster character is so big, the one thing I don't have turned on right now for him, let me go over to it so you can see it. I do not have match source turned on because I want this creature to take his own natural strides. And if I forced him to match to the mocap, he's gonna, you'll see what happens. He's kind of like, I'm trying to match the mocap. Even if I scaled the mocap up to be a better size, it doesn't quite have the same feel. And it has to do with proportions of the monster skeleton versus human skeleton. So let me turn that off so he's back to being a monster. So there he goes. So whenever you're ready and you're happy with your target, it's time to it'll be time to bake everything down. Sorry, I'm a little distracted tonight. It's been a long week. I mean, since last Wednesday, it's been a long. So there's a turn 90. Just turn 90 into place. This is a cool one. So hold on. Oh, that's the end. The actor gets down, preps himself, and he turns. It doesn't take very big steps. That would be something that with this character I would have to adjust. Just FYI, this is my disclaimer. Hey, thank you for the subscription, and you get to see the awesome animation I did. So anyway, again, oh yeah, okay, disclaimer. So full disclaimer, this motion capture that we're seeing here was not shot for this character. It was shot for a different character, which I don't have that character, unfortunately. And I don't have the motion that we originally put on this character. So I'm kind of hodgepodging a couple of things together and trying to make it work. There we go. Is that better? Is the microphone level better? I keep seeing it spike and hit red, and I'm worried I'm getting too close to this thing. But anyways, full disclaimer. Yeah, this motion was not shot for this, and if the actor was playing to this character, he'd have had much bigger movements because this character's feet are so big. So when you're all said and done, it's time to plot everything down. And I'm just going to go and plot to skeleton. And I'm going to say plot. Here's a trick. If you have a whole bunch of things in a single file, you can plot all takes. You want to leave constant key reducer off. I personally leave it off. This way it doesn't plot. This way it plots every joint, a key on every joint for every frame. If constant key reducer was on, it would see a joint that is maybe static, and it would not put keys on those frames. But I want the keys on those frames. So I'll plot all, and it just take a few seconds here. You can see it it doesn't look like it's doing much of anything, but it's going through all the animations and putting all the mocap animation right onto the character. And it looks like it's done. So now he is retargeted to a skeleton level, but it's not yet on the control rig. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to say plot. This time I'm going to bake everything to the control rig. Same thing. Plot all takes. He's going to jump around. He's going to look pretty crazy there as he plots down. Give it a second. There he goes. Now he's completely plotted down. I'm going to go and I'm just going to, I don't think I have that in a group, do I? Oh, I do. Yay. I'll just turn off that mocap so we don't see it. So there we go. So there's a couple little things I want to show you. One of the things you can do in Motionbuilder is you can add auxiliary pivots, and that's what this blue thing is. So because he has such large feet, I went ahead and I created a little pivot out here to help me roll up onto his toe. Let me show you how that works. If I come over here to his foot, I've come over here and I've right-clicked and I say create auxiliary pivot, and it created this little blue node out here that I can place wherever I want. And what I can do is I can now rotate from his toe. So I can either rotate here, or I can rotate up here, or I can come down here and select that, and I can rotate from there. It's kind of like giving a piece of the rigging 2 joints, or 2 pivot points, which is really nice. And if I really wanted to, I could put these all around his feet, and I can get all sorts of cool banking and stuff like that. But for this character, I just kind of put this one on here. So let me go to that. Let's do a walk forward. It sounds easy. Let's see if it is easy. Walk forward. All right, so here's my walk forward. So first thing I'm going to do is check it out. All right. I'm going to pick my frame range that I think is going to work best. So I'm going to come up here, maybe start on the passing pose and crop to there, so 470. And go through a full cycle. So he's left foot down, so he goes right, left. I'm only going to do 1 cycle this time, and back to right. So let's see here. Left foot down, right, left, and then back. That's 1 cycle. To 514. Frame 514. All right. So there he is. He's walking. No, I forgot to turn on music. Do you guys want to hear music in the background? See if this is... There you go. Is that good? Let me know if you need to turn it up or down. Low and casual. Sweet. All right, let's pull this down and let's start figuring out how we're going to make this work and look good. This being a tutorial and having limited amount of time, I'm gonna hit highlights because this type of work actually is a lot of work. And then I'll get to a certain point and I'll actually pull up a finished animation of this guy with the original motion that was shot specifically for him and you'll get to see a difference. Not only in just what a final polished animation looks like, but what like actual animation or an actor who actually acted out for this particular character looks like. All right, so the first thing I want to do, I need to straighten this guy up, right? He's walking at a diagonal angle. Usually when we're on stage, we want to use the most space possible. So instead of having an actor walk from the back to the front of the stage, we'll have him walk diagonal or run diagonal from corner to corner. This gives us the most space to work with whenever we're doing our whenever we're capturing motion. So let's straighten this guy up. Now there's a bug in Motionbuilder which is I just discovered, and it's driving me crazy. This was not in previous versions of Motionbuilder, or at least not before 2018. So this worked. I know it worked in 2016. If I go here and I add my character, so insert character animation track, select my character, which is this guy, insert current take. It's going to be over here. I want to first get this lined up with frame 0. It's usually good habit, good practice to start all your animation at frame 0. Not always necessary, but sometimes just that little bit of extra will make it, easier for you in the back end. Frame start to end. That's very important. Don't forget that, or you'll end up baking no animation onto your character. I know I've done that several times actually. It's not any fun. All right, so I got this baked down, or I got this moved. Now I need to rotate this thing, so I'm going to turn on my spline. I can see my spline right there, so I'm going to first move this start at 0 in the world, which is there. Now here's the bug I was talking about. In past versions of Motionbuilder, if this was at an angle, it would actually tell me the degrees of rotation that it was down here, and I could just easily say go 90 in this direction, or go 0, or go 180, or whatever direction I wanted to rotate this guy in. It would work, but I don't know, they changed something. It really frustrates me, and if anybody knows, anybody at Autodesk who's working on this, please have them fix it, because being able to line these characters up and get them to go down a straight line is absolutely crucial. So I'm going to try to eyeball this the best I can, since they broke that feature. And you can see he's slightly off because I'm unable to actually numerically type in a 0 value. I'm just going to try to get him as close as I possibly can. Okay, well, we'll say that's good. All right, so once he is right where you want him, it is time to bake everything down. So now there's multiple ways to bake down the same thing. If you right click in here, you'll see a plot whole scene to current take. Do not do that. Don't plot entire scene to whole scene to current take here. What this will do is, if I go back over to Navigator into my character, it will actually key things here in your character settings, which if you need to bring motion capture later onto your character, all of a sudden you have all these things set, and if you need to make any adjustments, you have to go in and you have to delete all this animation. It's just a pain in the butt. So don't do it there. You want to do it up here. This is a great place to do it. So go to Plot, Skeleton, Plot, Control Rig. There we go. And now he's walking, about as straight as I can make him with that bug and being in story. And I can delete this. I find it good practice to actually delete your track in story whenever you're done. I know some people leave it on, which is fine. If you do, I recommend turning story off whenever you start to work. All right, so now So let me talk a little bit more about this auxiliary pivot. This works with a.k.a. just like how you would expect it to work. So I'm going to turn a.k.a. on, turn that pull off on both of these. Oh man, you guys are all using looping. Here, Mr. Kitty says hi. There's Mr. Kitty. Hey Jay, how's it going? What you doing? You gonna come in here and tell everybody how I'm doing it wrong? Do you remember this guy, Jay? I think you do. All right, so where was I? Oh yeah, so these auxiliary pivots, there's a.k.a. on them, so they'll function just like regular a.k.a., which is cool. So I'm just going to leave that on for now. I might actually see what turning floor contacts on will do for this guy. So let's go to Navigator. This is another way you can get those feet under control. So let's go to the modifiers, and you'll see floor contacts. And I'm going to look at, first I'm going to look at toe floor contact to see what happens. His feet are so big, we'll probably see some problems happening. No toe floor contact. Let's check feet. Feet, there we go. So did you see that? So the feet cause those feet to actually snap to the ground. But yeah, I got the old 3DR model. Well, I think Jay, this is my field of dreams, right? If you build it, they will come. Hopefully I will build this and people will come and they will learn and they will get excited about doing motion capture or be more knowledgeable when they watch a movie. All right, so let's look at what this guy looks like now that I've turned floor contact on for the feet. You can see his feet are doing better. They're not great, but they're better. Let's add a layer. So now it's time to add in a layer. Now, because I have the toes pinned, and I have the feet not and a.k.a. turned on, I can't lift the foot up, which is, remember, it's right here, not down here. And so when I animate, I'm going to animate from the toe, or I believe I can animate from the auxiliary pivot as well. Oh yeah, the Octobrain. I remember that. I remember you doing this crazy Octobrain character in Motionbuilder. Hey everybody, we got a celebrity in chat, Mr. J down there, Jay Schwood. I worked with him back in the 3D Realms days. All right, so I'm getting distracted. Just wait, Jay. I got a couple other things here. So I'm gonna see how that toe's flipping right there. I need to fix that. So an example of fixing this, it'd be a simple like set a key. Probably pick it up right about here, so it's up off the floor. Set a key. Then when he comes to set his foot down, I'm just going to zero that key out. Part of the reason, see how he's like kicking back as well? That's part of the reason why I have this auxiliary pivot here, is I can go in and I can adjust these curves so that he's pivoting in one spot. I'm also gonna, sometimes I like to turn floor contact off, because if floor contact could totally be affecting his feet and trying to push it back. So let me see what happens when I do that. I think it's just because he got big clumsy feet. But yeah. But yes, Jay's right. Trajectories. I'm gonna move that key over here. I don't like that. And put that back here. I think part of it is it's the base animation layer. So I go to my base animation layer, F curves, translation. It's the Z. You can see there's a big dip right there, and this is what's causing his foot to go back. So instead of trying to do it on an animation layer, I'm gonna try doing this on the base layer. So you can grab these, and I'm just scale these up like that. So that's doing better. It's kind of keep them in somewhat in the same space. But I might come in here, and sometimes I'll go in one key at a time, and I'll start pushing it forward to kind of match where it needs to go, like this. And this is very long and can be very tedious process of just one key at a time fixing things. Let's go grab some of these. Let's scale that up like that. So now I'm starting to get his foot to stick a little bit better to the ground right there, right? He's still dipping down. It's probably in the Y layer, which is right there. You can see where it's dipping down. So let's first pinch that up. So now it's going to be along the ground a little bit better. And there's the trajectories, just so you can see it. And I don't think I like how that's coming down like so. So I'm just going to see about pinching this up here like this. You could probably go in here and just delete keys, but I decided to just do it by hand. Kind of an old school way of handling it. Oh man, look at all those tips. Look at all that physics on that jar. That's cool. You're awesome, Pink Werewolf. So something that you can do, I've done this before. I'll copy a key, and then I'll just go forward frame by frame and just paste that key where I like it. So paste. Why is it not pasting? Copy. And oh, there it goes. Paste, paste, paste. You can see it slowly. Actually, I think I want that key. Copy. Paste. There we go. So now you can see his foot's starting to do a better job of sticking to the ground. Let me go back to my base animation layer, because I think I probably started setting these keys a little bit too early. Just gonna delete that and go back to my base layer. And then let's look at that Z motion. When I zoom in on these these curves, you can see how just janky they are from this motion capture. So I'm going to take that. I'm just start pasting it across the board. You can see he's starting to stick a little bit better now. There we go. It's getting there. But anyways, I think you're all getting the idea of kind of some of what's involved to make these kind of big, clumsy monster feet work. Let me go back to my animation layer. So if I want to add a little more oomph to his walk, I'm just going to concentrate on this leg for now. I'm going to set some of my key poses here, probably there, and then back to whatever the start pose is. And by the way, this is if we haven't defined our main walking home pose for a character out yet. I mean, if we had a predefined walk pose for this character, that probably would have been the first thing I pasted on. But if you're like just starting out and you're like trying to figure this stuff out, you'd probably animate it and get a really clean walk, making it look really good. And then as you're doing it, you're figuring out kind of the posture of this character. So some things that can add a little bit of something to it, right? So as he kind of comes up, maybe his foot is pushing down a little bit. And then as he comes forward, maybe his foot comes up a little bit. Let me un-X-ray that so you get a... And then what I've done is I've actually taken these and I've kind of pushed it back right here, kind of like how a dog would tuck its leg up as it's moving forward. And he's going to reach, which is probably the opposite direction, like that. And then we're going to get another compression as he puts his weight down on his leg and comes up. So it's a little janky right now. But if you really think about it, what we did is we took motion capture that was not shot for this character and a really old character with really big club feet and his horse link leg, and we're getting the motion capture on it and looking like it's, it could work. I mean, the rest of the animation is pretty standard, I think, right? So I'm not going to concentrate on this upper body since we worked on a walk last time. But I will put his arms up in the air. Put his arms up in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. Hey, guys. That's what he says. It's like, hey, guys, I'm coming for you. Since we're just looking at this leg. So some of the stuff you can do as well, right, is he's got toes. If these toes are characterized, and let me go in and unhide them, which are right here. So Control H is unhide, Shift H is hide, Control H is unhide. So now we got his toes, right? And if these are characterized, which they should be, because I believe I characterized them way back in the day. Let's find out. Set a key, and as he starts to come up, I'm going to bend this toe up to look like this. Probably bend this toe up to look like that. That little itty bitty toe. Hey, no problem. It's my pleasure bringing you the joys of animating horrible characters that were not designed properly. I say that. This is a cool character. It really is. And I'm not trying to knock the guy who built this. This was definitely a very specific character for a very specific game for a very specific era. And it worked great. I don't think his foot's coming up high enough. I think his foot needs to come up higher. What do you think? I'm just going to grab his toe and bring it up here a little bit higher. He's got those big club feet. There we go. Let's look at that toe again. So he flexes. Probably is going to drag his toe. I like the thought of him dragging it. All three of these toes. I like the thought of this one actually collapsing down like that, which I haven't set that key yet. And by the way, I did not characterize these toes. I can tell you right now, because these keys are just this whitish gray color. If they were characterized, they'd have like a little yellow tab on the bottom. So, yeah, this would be a lot more work. And then he's going to, as he comes down to set his foot down, right here, probably right about there. I'm going to grab these toes. I'm going to flex them up like this. And if you build your skeleton correctly, which let's see if this one is. I should be able to grab all the toes, go to a local rotation, and on the same axis, rotate them. And they do. Yeah, there you go. So he's going to come down, and he's going to hit. And then a couple frames later, I'm just going to paste the original pose back onto those toes. Like that. So let me hide some of the stuff and hide that trajectory so you can kind of see what's going on. All right. Oh, I hit the measuring tool. I was like, what is my icon? Or what's my cursor turned into? So you can see now that there's a little bit more of a toe flop on there. So for like a big lumbering character, which this character would be a big lumbering character, you'd be like this big looking up at him. As he goes, I'm coming to get you. So, yeah, the legs are hanky, they're janky, but let me go open up. Now's the time to actually open up the actual animations, I think. Here it is. Yes, feet and floor contacts. That's a good one. If I had characterized those toes properly, the toe contact would have worked, and those toes would not have gone through the floor. That is correct. All right, so here we go. Here's Mr. Battlelord creature in all of his glory, walking forward, and you can kind of see a final walk and kind of what it should look like. I don't know, maybe Jay can remember. Who animated this character? Was it me? Was it you? Was it both of us? You did. So Jay animated this character. I know I animated some of it. I know he animated some of it. It was a combo. It really was. We all were kicking butt and taking names. Let's see. What's a good one? Run, strafe, fire grenades. Idle to run. There we go. I'm going to play this slowly so you can kind of get an idea, because it was definitely a lot of work to get this guy with these big club feet to work, no matter who was working on it. His feet are slipping a little bit, but that's okay. Not a big deal. In the end, the question is it fun to play? When you're working in a game, the real question is it fun to play? Yeah, is the animation nice? Yeah, it's nice to have really good animation. But is it fun? Let's look at some of these feet. You can see the toes are coming up. They're kicking. I like this back. I like this foot over here. Kind of comes down. They kind of like claw up. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, look at that foot. That foot, because he's starting from his standing idle. Yeah, I think we might have even slowed this animation down, like, because he's such a big guy, we didn't want him running at like a normal human speed, because he had just been way too fast when you're in the game playing. Let me go to a looped animation. Here's the run. The reason why it looks like he's flashing in and out is because he's actually running through the lights. There's a 3-point light set up to illuminate him and give shadows and stuff. Let me turn that off. Turn off lights. I don't even have lights in a group, do I? I just have to hide them manually. If you hide lights, they turn off. So there you go. Lights are turned off. Make this bigger so you can see them better. So yeah. Let's see, what does that? Go to 0 and add the add the lights to the hips. Could do that. I think this is good though. So hey, just since we're on it, and I think my time for the tutorial is just about up here. Let's look at a fire sequence. This is him shooting the gun, right? So you got a lot of times in game animations, and this is kind of going off my original tutorial, right, of these horse link leg stuff. So what we have here is we have a fire start. So he's revving up and he's getting ready to fire. And then you have your kind of your first shot as his gun starts to spin up, and then you have a fire where he's sitting there just firing. And this is a looping animation that design and code can make loop however long they decide they need it to loop, right? Which is obviously not forever, because he would like kill you. You have no chance. So he's got to cool down. So then we have a fire stop, which is like this. And I'm going to put all these together in a single sequence so you can kind of see what it looks like. So we can do that real simple in Story. So I'm going to insert a character animation track, insert our character. I'm going to insert this one since this is the last one. Insert current take. I'm just going to drag that over there somewhere. Let's go to Fire, insert this right there, and drag this over here. And start, insert current take. Now let's see what this looks like together. Frame all. Frame start to end. All right, so now it's the entire length of the... It's a very short burst of firing. Ramp. And done. Let's add a couple more of the cycles of that. So I'm just adding in a few loops. Put these back to back. So design would probably determine how long that character should actually be firing for, right? See how it looks like if we make him fire a little bit longer. That looks a little bit better, right? And we have that for everything. We have that for like firing grenades and all sorts of other stuff. So anyway, I think that's where we're at for this tutorial. Let me hop on over to this this strafe. Oh, pop quiz. I went over to strafe, but he's not playing the strafe. Why is that? Because story is still turned on. Let me turn off story. Story overwrites everything. So are there any questions? Now's the time for me to actually look at my chat and see if you guys have any fun questions for me. See if I can scroll back here and... Oh yeah, that would have been cool to be able to do a little bit more. That limited technology at the time, right? Yeah, I think this is a trip down memory lane. Actually, I got a little treat here, something I found recently. Let me open this up. Pause this right here. Let me drop this and get this out of the way so I can see what's going on. I'm gonna go back to this video that we showed of this cosplayer being a velociraptor, which is really cool because this is how I'd have, this is kind of stuff I'd want my actor to be doing on stage in order to be one of these creatures. Right, so I'm kind of touching back onto this. So whoever this person is, you should go check them out because why not? Oh, look at this. She's going to go on the playground. Ah, this is cool. Oh, man, I'd break my neck if I tried to do this. Oh, no. I am super impressed with her contraption. I really am. I want that. I want that for my mocap stage. She's walking in sand. Oh, man. This is really good. Really good stuff. But yeah, just look at how the posture completely changes. I'm keep that in mind. Let me close this down. I'm going to pull up a folder that I found. This is from one of my last jobs I had the actor, his name was TJ Storm, and he became the main actor for us, for our lead character. But it turned out he also was an Avatar. I mean, he played Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell in a bunch of those games. He was also in Avatar, played a lot of the blue aliens in that. He also did a lot of the mech animations as well. So we're like, hey, can you do some mech animations for us? He's like, yeah, here. So I think I got some of his animations here. Oh, this is cool. All right, I got the right video. Here he is, Mr. TJ Storm. So T-pose is what we called out on stage. So T-pose and action. I don't know if you can. So, anyways, he's being a robot, and he's make this bigger. So he's kind of doing some sort of boot up sequence, I think. I don't know if we ever got this data. I wish I had it. If it's somewhere, I wish I could get a hold of this because this is cool. By the way, he's got these really long dreads or braids or whatever, and they actually had to. You can see him coming down the side, and they had to Velcro them to the front of his mocap suit because they would get in the way of the markers in the back. But no, this guy is really cool. Let's see if I got a couple. Here's another one. I guess we're doing some aiming. So this kind of touches back on the importance of when you're shooting motion capture to it's really important to pick a good actor that fits the part, who has a good performance that they can bring to the stage with good acting choices. This guy had great acting choices. Mr. TJ Storm. Yeah, her balance is pretty good, isn't it? All right, well, I guess it's time to cut the tutorial and move on to something else. I'm going to have to admit I'm not as prepared this week as I have been in the past. My girlfriend's actually going in for heart surgery tomorrow, and it's kind of, we've been preparing for that and everything, and she's going to be out of commission for a short period of time. Nothing too serious. My uncle had the same procedure done, and he's like, man, I never felt so good in my life. It has to do with nerve ablations in the chest and what have you. So somebody had asked, and I don't know if I can do it with this guy. Somebody had asked the question on, I think, my YouTube channel, how do you get a guy to go around a corner if you're using motion capture? And I've been trying to think of a really good way to do it, and I don't know. There's different things that you can do to get a character to go around a corner, like to turn 90 degrees or at an arc, but I have never seen anything that's not hooked into some procedural animation system that looks good. So I've been trying to think about that and how to show it. But I don't know. What would you all like to see as far as animations is concerned? Is there anything in particular? If it's something I can do, I will figure out how to, figure out what to animate. Do it. Animals. Do I have an animal? I wonder if there's any animals in the asset browser here. I have what Motionbuilder gives me is what I have. There's some interesting characters down here. I go to a new scene. Don't save that. Nah, I don't need to save any of that. What is this? Punch. People. I think these are just people. Characters. If you do get Motionbuilder, you have all these free characters that you can use. Like, she's a very popular one. Let's see what this guy. Let's look at this guy. Walking, slip, fall. It's kind of cool. Let's analyze this real fast. He looks a little spongy. Probably because the actor actually fell on like a padded cushion. This is a kind of cool little character. This is new. How does this skeleton look like? It looks about right. Maybe I'll do a little maybe I should clean this animation up. What do you think? Yeah, morphine would be cool, wouldn't it? It's like, whoa, I slipped in something. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to kill my stream and start it right back up. And I'm going to take this little blue guy who's slipping on something, and I'm just going to edit it, see if I can clean it up a little bit. Flying by the seat of my pants here, people. So, all right. Let me transition over to my little splash screen. Oh, let me cut my my awesome music. There we go. So I'm gonna. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna cut this, and I'm gonna come back in just 2 seconds, and I'm gonna start animating this little blue guy. So I'll see you all in a couple seconds.